Howdy-ho, folks. My name is Mark Johnston, and I do STEM education. In today's video is part 3 of the encoded message for VEX VR. Now, stick around to the end because I'm going to show you part of the program that I wrote the very first time I saw encoded message and was able to get it done, and I think you're going to get a kick out of it, okay? So, in this video, it would be very, very good if you watched part 1 and part 2. Link in the description. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
The guidance subsystem uses deviations to generate corrective commands to drive the missile from a position where it is to a position where it isn't, and arriving at a position where it wasn't. It now is.
All right, let's jump right in. You can see where we left off in the previous video. We have our robot traversing through this encoded message, storing those values into a list. And if I push play and I open up this monitor, I can see that happening right here. And I can see that that value is being put into this list. And those values correspond to this table. Remember, you can get there by clicking on the activities link, either there or there, and then finding the encoded message activity. And when you click on that one, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this. On this page, you've got 26 capital letters and 26 lowercase letters. And so the way that I can make this print the actual letter into the console is simply by saying if my decimal value is 65, print an A. And so I'm going to have to create 26 if statements. Well, really, I'd have to create one for the capital and the lowercase. But I don't want to do that. And so let's talk about first how we can just get it to print the thing that we need. Now, fortunately, the first puzzle here, puzzle A, is all capital letters. So I'm going to start with just capital letters. I'm going to use the list that I've been given and go from 65 to 90. And so I'm going to show you the first one, and then we're just going to fast forward ahead because nobody wants to watch me do that for 20 minutes. All right, so I'm going to go to Control, and I'm going to put in an if. And now I know it's not connected to anything right now. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that in just a second. All right, so I'm going to say if, and then get a green operator equals. All right, and it's going to say 65. Right, because that's the first. That's a capital A as a 65. Yep. And then I'm going to go to print and say print. And I'm going to throw in a capital A right there. Okay. So I'm all set up, and I'm going to start like copying this a bunch of times and everything. But what I want to do here is create a my block. It's not totally necessary, but it's going to make it a little bit nicer on the screen and everything. So I'm going to click make a block. I clicked on my block there. That's the pink one. And then I said make a block. Here I'll say print letter. Let's say decimal letter, DEC letter. Print decimal letter. And the input is going to be the decimal value that I want. And so if I input an 86 here, it should print out an 80, an A, right? Or if, yeah, I think 86 was A. I don't remember, but I'll click OK. No, it's 65. I don't know where I got 86 from. That's like V. All right, so now I have this hat block right here. I'm going to drag that over. And then I'll put the if statement right underneath of it. Then I'm going to drag this where it says number to there. Okay? Basically, at this point, if I wanted to, at the end, say print, I don't even need to worry about any of this, right? Watch this. If I say here at the very top, if I say print decimal letter 1, it's not going to do anything. because it's going to run through this if right here and say it's not anything. It's just going to go to the next thing. But if I put 65 in, then watch what happens when I push play. The very first thing it does is print that A. Okay. If I put anything else in here, it's not going to do anything because it's not in that list. So here comes the montage when I add all 25 more of the letters. Here we go. Okay, so that actually didn't take quite as long as I thought it would, but we have all 26 there. You could just take this whole thing, duplicate, and then, change it. You could go to, 97 through 122, and then put in lowercase letters and do 97 through 122. But you know what? I want to illustrate how I can both be lazy and do something creative here. I'm going to make my console print in caps, no matter what. So even if it's a lowercase letter, it's going to print in caps. All right. Let's go ahead and just test this out. Let's put in, 69 and then push play. And it should print a letter E. Yep. And so the A was already there. I need to click clear. Okay. So that works. Now I want it to actually print what the letter is as it goes. I know I'm storing this information in a list, so I'm going to illustrate a couple different ways that I could do this. Let's say I want a slow reveal. I want a slow reveal. So as it goes, I want it to print it out, surprise me as we go, right? And so right after it records the number in the list, I'm going to then also have it print it. So notice I have my block here. I can call this thing anytime I want, anywhere in here. So rather than having to grab this whole thing and dump it right in the middle of all my code here, I can have it off to the side. That's one of the nice things about having a my block. I can easily move it to wherever I want like that. All right, so right after it records the value, or even right before, doesn't matter too much there, but I'll do it right before because it looks prettier. Okay, so right before, I want it to print this decimal value right here. Okay, so it's going to print it into the console as the letter, and then it'll store the decimal value in the list. Okay, oops, undo, and we got an undo button there I could have used. So let's go ahead and click play and watch it. Oh, I need to reset. All right, let's reset. And since we're going to be doing this a lot, let's go ahead and put in a clear all rows. So that's under looks and then clear all rows. Oh, and that's why I keep getting this up here. I don't need that right there. Get rid of that. All right, I think we're ready now. All right, so I'll click play. And it's going to record this first one. It's going to actually print it first. It's a V, which is 86. Awesome. So it's printing out as it goes. But what if I wanted to collect all of the information and then print it all out right at the end? All right, I could do that. And so I could collect all this information and then decide I want to print it out at the very end. So I'm going to get rid of the my block from right here. So I'll delete that, disable block, no, delete block. Oh, it's 2 because it has the little thing inside. Okay. So once it's done running this whole program, and by the way, I forgot to mention, I goofed in the last program. I put repeat 8 up here and it should have been repeat 5. So anyway, hopefully that didn't cause any problems. But now when we come down here, so after it's run the full course, then I want it to print. And I'm going to use my repeat count to do that. So I'll need to set repeat count to 0, or to actually to 1. So I'm going to set repeat count to 1. And then I'm going to repeat 5 times, because I have 5 items in my list. All right. And I'm going to then say print, and I'm going to print. Oh, no, not print. I'm sorry. I'm going to get the my block, right? And what I'm going to have it send to it is going to be pulling from the list. Okay. So I'll say item 1. If I did item 1 from the list, it's just going to print 5 V's, right? Because it would repeat 5 times and print. All right. So what I do want to do is say repeat count, print repeat count of that. Okay. And then I need to change repeat count by 1. All right. So the first time it's going to print the item 1 of the list, then item 2, then item 3, then item 4, then item 5, and repeat count will end up going up to 6, but it won't matter because we'll be done. Okay. So now let's go ahead and run it. And there we go. It printed it out right there at the end. Boom, boom, boom. It waited till it got all the way to the end, and then it printed it. So this is just another way that you can print out that information. Now, you've probably been wondering, we have a big problem, and when are we going to fix it? Let's go to puzzle C. If I go to puzzle C, I wonder what will happen here. Well, we get an 80. So we know we're good on that one. You can even scroll down in this list and see what an 80 is. An 80 should be a P. Okay, a 105. Oh, see, that's a problem. 105 is not in there. All right, well, let's go to over to the encoded message activity and look at what 105. 105 is an I. Well, I want it to be a capital I, so it needs to be a 73. Look at this for a second, though. Look, 65, and they're all incremental. 97, and they're all incremental. That means they are 32. There's a difference of 32 between them. So if I want to turn a lowercase letter into an uppercase letter, all I have to do is subtract 32 from the decimal value. So if I get 97, if I subtract 32, I get 65. If I get 105 and I subtract 32, I get 73. All right, so that's how you do it. So what we'll do then is we'll do that right before it stores the information in the list. All right, so that we can keep using this same code, but right before it puts it in the list, we're going to manipulate it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to get a if-else statement, and I'm going to put it right in. Nope, it's not going to want to. Okay, I'm going to have to put it off to the side here. Pull this out. This gets tricky here. I don't want to mess with the repeat count. So this has to go in here, duplicate it and put it there. And you'll understand what I'm going to do here in just a second. So this needs to be, oh no, right there. All right. I think I got that right. Yikes. Yeah, disassembling it and putting it back in can be a little bit of a challenge. So it's going to drive forward, check for green, add up those values, and it adds those values up. And then when it's done doing that, then we're going to check is decimal value. So I'm going to duplicate that. If decimal value is greater than 90, then we're going to subtract 32. Simple as that. Okay, so if decimal value is greater than 90, subtract 32. All right, so I got my if. I need a greater than. So if decimal value is greater than 90, then I don't want to just store decimal value. I want to store decimal value minus 32. So I'll get a minus operator right here. And right here, minus 32. So if it is greater than 90, it's going to store it minus 32, or else it'll just store it. Okay. So now if I push play, what map are we on? We're on the wrong map. Let's go to C and push play. Ah, 73. And 78. And notice the value that's being added up here. Watch this. When it shows value, watch this, 16, 32, 64, 120, 250. It was at 115, but it recorded in 83. So it was at 115, but it recorded in 83. So we got it, and then it printed it out. Pins. Okay, bonus time. This is from one of the very first programs I wrote with this playground. It is messy, and I would not recommend doing it this way, but it really helped me understand binary and really to get an idea of what's happening in a computer when it's trying to decide between multiple items, right? And if you get all the way down to the very end, it's binary. It's either on or off, okay? And so let's look at that list, okay? I didn't pay any attention to the decimal to begin with. I wanted to look at the binary. So I looked at the binary. And if you notice that all of the lowercase are 0, 1, 1, and all of the uppercase are 0, 1, 0. Very interesting. So what is the difference there? Look at this digit, this place value, that third place value, or the from here, this is the ones place, that's the twos, that's the fours, this is the eights, this is the 16s, that's the 32s, and then the 64s and 128s, right? So if these are the 32s, then look at the decimal value, 6597, difference of 32, 6698, difference of 32, 6799, difference of 32. That is the difference. And so I was able to say, well, I'll just do all caps, right? So if I see binary of 10 111001, I really am only concerned with those last five right there, 11001, because look over here, the capital Y is 11001. So I was able to just truncate the binary to the last five, and because the last five were what I really needed to know. And if I knew that, then I could figure out what the letter was. Pretty interesting way. I thought it was a pretty interesting way of doing it. And so then I just created a gigantic if-else tree. Again, not pretty. I don't recommend doing this, but look at this. So if the first one is a 0, then it'll check to see if the second one is a 0, and then it'll check to see if it's a 0, 0, 0. Then it would just be a space, because it would be all 0. It'd be 5 zeros at the end. So it's not anything that I'm looking for. But if it's all zeros and a 1, that means it's an A. I mean, that's just the way it worked out. It's just an A. So if it's 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, so then the else would jump to here to the A. If it is like 0, 0, 0, and then 1, look at this. Oh, I'll pull that out. It would go to this else here. And then if it was 0, then it would be B. So really, really complex and ridiculous. If any of my critics say maybe I make things a little bit more complicated than they need to be, look at this and you will see that it could be much, much, much worse. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy that, I would appreciate you giving me a like and possibly subscribing. You can also join now for $2 a month and get access to all these great videos a whole day before anybody else can. In the comments below, tell me if you want another video explaining binary or if you're good with what we've gotten so far. I'll see you guys in the next one.